Child labor has been a prevalent issue throughout history. Many countries, regardless of their current level of wealth, have engaged in the use of the most severe types of child labor. Many people still engage in this practice, especially in the least developed regions of the world. Although there has been significant focus on child labor in the formal sector, we have limited knowledge about child labor in informal industries, like domestic work in Bangladesh. Most domestic workers in Bangladesh are girls and young women between the ages of 6 and 18. This demographic is commonly observed. They are referred to as the most impoverished individuals. These child workers are neglected, either intentionally or unintentionally. In society, the good deeds of individuals often go unnoticed and are soon forgotten. The young girls who work and their families are not aware of the risks associated with their new jobs. Children of their age desperately need love and affection. All children, regardless of their gender, nationality, race, caste, or creed, have the right to receive primary education. Child domestic workers often experience hunger and insufficient nutrition, lack of attention, lack of recreational activities, and insufficient payment. Today, we will be looking at the case of a child who was killed in her workplace as a domestic worker. The child domestic worker who was found dead in the neighborhood of Kalabagan Central Road has now had an autopsy performed on her body. In connection with this occurrence, the local police station has opened a murder investigation. The child's family has not been located as of yet, but the funeral home in Dhaka is currently in possession of the deceased child's body. According to Ramzan Ali, the duty officer at the Kalabagan police station, the station received a complaint of a murder earlier today. The individual who has been designated as the defendant in this case is a single person. Despite this, there is no evidence to suggest that the youngster in question is the one who was reported missing. Kalabagan Station of the Police OC. According to Muhammad Saiful Islam, the police are making all possible efforts in order to determine the identity of the murdered maid. In addition to that, he stated that the individual who is filing the lawsuit is an SI at the Kalabagan police station named Babul Hossain. Sathi Akhtar Parveen, also known as Dolly, a housewife, has been accused. Since the incident, she has not been seen or heard from again. A search for her and an attempt to apprehend her are both currently underway. It should be brought to your attention that Sathi Akhtar Parveen resided with her child and the maid in the apartment designated E1, which was located on the second floor of building number 77 on Kalabagan Central Road. The deceased housekeeper had been employed at the residence for the previous 3 years. The kid domestic worker, who is now 10, is believed by the police to have been subjected to frequent acts of torture at that premises. The child who worked as a domestic servant for the family was also subjected to torture on Friday morning. Sathi escaped the flat after the child was killed, but she forgot to take her mobile phone with her. On Saturday morning, the police were able to retrieve the body of the youngster from within the residence. After finding the body, the police discovered numerous fresh and old injury marks on the body of the deceased person. The injuries appeared to have occurred over a period of time. Mouth foaming and general swelling of the body are symptoms. The officer in charge, Saiful Islam, stated, "We have discovered that accused Sathi Akhtar Parveen has been married twice. The name of her first spouse was Mamoon. To earn a living, he works as a driver. He is a parent to a girl who is at home. After getting a divorce from him, she later wed a physician, divorced from him in the year 2020. Since 2016, she has been using the identity of her previous spouse to conceal the fact that she is living in the flat." Following the conclusion of the divorce proceedings, Sathi's former husband relocated to Jessore from Dhaka. We got in touch with Sathi's former spouse, who is a doctor, and discovered that ever since the divorce, he has stopped coming to this residence. Sathi invited the maid to move back in with her after she divorced her husband. According to officials involved in the inquiry, after reviewing the footage from the surveillance cameras, it was determined that Sathi Akhtar walked out of the building with his child at 9:04 on Friday morning. She returned once more at 9:09, having waited an additional 5 minutes. She departed once more after 8 minutes had passed, and she did not come back. Dr. Tuhida Begum, a medical professional and lecturer in the forensic department of Dhaka Medical College, was the one who carried out the autopsy on the child on the afternoon of Sunday, August 27th. When questioned about the death after the completion of the post-mortem, he elected not to speak on the matter. In the report that was filed by Sub-Inspector Sathi Akhtar of the Kalabagan police station, it was claimed that the youngster had been working as a maid in that residence for a period of 3 years. This information was found in the report that was filed. My roommate's live-in lover, 45-year-old Parveen Dolly, was the one who strangled her to death and then fled the scene yesterday, August 25th, before 8:30 in the morning. His account suggests that the child was subjected to regular acts of physical abuse. In addition to this, he pointed out that the child's body is covered with wounds that are both fresh and old in a variety of locations. The mortuary stated that they discovered both old and new wounds on the deceased's body. I was responsible for collecting the necessary test scores and turning them in for review. According to the source, once all of the test results are obtained, a determination regarding the precise reason for the death will be made. Mofizur Rahman, the manager of the house located on Central Road, was clueless regarding the identity of the child. It has been brought to my attention that the Pabna Sadar Upazila is where one can find the homemaker's village. The young child, who had been working as a domestic worker, was found on a bed on Saturday afternoon by officers from the Kalabagan police station. They were unable to get inside the apartment on the second story without breaking the lock, which was located in the Pudar Goli neighborhood off of Central Road. Babul Hossain, who worked as the deputy inspector, SI, at the local police station, revealed that a woman by the name of Janaika Sathi Parveen Dolly lived alone in the flat with her child. They had been living apart from one another for a considerable amount of time now. The child worked there as a maid at that particular residence. According to the police, the girl is originally from Kishoreganj. The sub-inspector, Biplob Hossain of the Kalabagan police station, added that the body was discovered by police on the 3rd level of a 7-story building. Witnesses said that as the news of the girl's death went around the community, hundreds of domestic employees from the region gathered in front of the building and demonstrated for 2.5 hours, claiming that the youngster had been murdered. According to witnesses, the protesters dispersed when the police removed the deceased person's body. Sai Biplab stated that after they receive the autopsy results, they will be able to come to a decision regarding the deceased. In addition to this, he added that the CCTV tape showed the mother leaving the house with her child on Friday morning after locking the doors and securing the property. Several types of samples were taken from the residence by CID. Following the conclusion of the court proceedings, the deceased person's body was transported in the evening to the mortuary of the DMK hospital for an autopsy to be performed. According to him, there was evidence of past injuries on the body of the child domestic worker. At first, the authorities had a hunch that the infant had been strangled to death before passing away. When the autopsy is finished, it will be possible to make the confirmation. Mofizur Rahman, who is the manager of the residence, stated that he has been working there for the past 2 years. During this period, he became aware of a young person toiling away in Sathi Akhtar's home. The police officer stated that they are currently looking for the housekeeper who was in the residence at the time. The case is still ongoing, and I hope they get to catch the culprits. Make sure to drop a like for this video and subscribe to this channel.